So some people react in both directions. You know what I'm saying? They secretly hate you for hurting them, but then their desire for validation will make them forget the feeling. That usually happens. But what will cause them to forgive you, and I say forgive, I mean forget, because it's natural for people to feel some resentment for you making them feel like shit. Like, you get what I'm saying? What you have to do is do an equal act of kindness. So if you call them on the bullshit, you say, okay, thank you so much. You know what? Let's go get dinner on me. That's an example. Or you know what? I made this for you, man, and I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you, and I understand this is uncomfortable, but thank you for listening. Or you give them a kiss, or you give them a hug and say, I really appreciate that you listen. And and anytime you need to tell me my bullshit, just let me know. You gotta, if you humble them, because you are humbling them, you gotta humble yourself too. And even the Bible talks about this, right? And this is very interesting verse on being humble. The Bible says this, and I say the Bible because it has some really good quotes. Humility is a fear of the Lord. It wages our riches and honor in life. Do nothing out of selfish ambition. Rather, in humility, value other above yourself. Not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interest of the other, right? Humble yourself before the Lord and he will uplift you. In other words, when you do this with people, you cannot seem like you're doing it from a place of superiority, or else they're going to want to get revenge, or else they're going to say, all right, motherfucker, you want to tell me what to do? You want to tell me my bullshit? I'm going to wait for you to fuck up. If you don't want any of that retaliation, you got to humble it yourself. So that's why when you do an act of coldness, you have to equal it with an act of kindness. By the way, check out my new channel, Professor Alex. It's a channel that I created where I talk about spirituality, self-help, and topics like the ones you see here. It's completely different from the men's channel. So click on that right now, and there you'll be able to get 3 or 4 videos per week that you will never find on this channel. Okay, subscribe right now, or else I'm closing it. Because then you're just creating resentment. Like if you humble me, like I want you to humble yourself too. It's almost like when people are apologizing to you, right? Even though you didn't do nothing wrong, it's always better to also apologize. Because if you don't apologize, they're gonna expect you to apologize. They're like, bitch, I apologize. Where's your apology? It's like this guy who I bought something from them it's a doctor, and I sent them the payment, and I sent it to the wrong person, right? But I sent them the payment to confirm, and he said yes. The money didn't arrive, and he was like, hey, the money didn't arrive. I'm like, I sent you the payment. Look, the confirmation. And he was like, but that's not the right person. But I'm like, oh shit, my fault. Oh shit. He was like, can you send me the payment? I'm like, but I sent it to the wrong person and you said it was okay. You didn't confirm it. Let's work something out. He was like, I know, but can you send me the full payment? I'm like, so you want me to send you the full payment without you even acknowledging your mistake? He was like, when are you going to send it? I'm like, oh, you fucking kidding me, you dumbass doctor? Okay, like, so clearly, so can you at least apologize? And he was like, no, I mean, you sent it to the wrong person. But I'm like, but you didn't confirm. And he was like, so are you gonna send it? I'm like, okay, blocked. I'm like, I'm blocking you, motherfucker. Like, we're both losing here. You could have just, because that's how I am. You could have just apologized. Like, you could have been like, look, my fault. You're right. I should have checked. It was my mistake. I know you sent it. I just should have checked. And if you know me as a person, if you actually know me, I'll swallow something. Whoa. Pause, motherfucker. Fucking it came out again. I'll swallow it. Jesus Christ. I'll take the hate. No, even that. Right? I would have given him the money, but it's the fact that he was so hard-headed that he didn't want to humble himself with me. Motherfucker, this is not a one-way street. Where are we at? Like, we in China? No. So you got to make sure that if you do this, you got to humble yourself in front of them to avoid any retaliation. And the next time they do it, then you got to lead by example and also be humble so that when it's your turn, they also do that. And that's how you keep a healthy relationship, right? But the ego will be hurt when you're with someone. It's going to be hurt because you have to print all of the negative sides of you. And that usually comes through hurting the ego, removing the parts that hurt. And over time, you'll be left with a tree that has a beautiful standing, whatever you call that tree that has always been printed, right? So yeah, once they recover, right? Once you do this, once you humble yourself, and give them warmth after coldness, what happens is that their true emotions that they feel about you become intensified. If they actually liked you, they'll like you more. If they secretly don't like you, they'll hate you even more, and you'll see it in the way that they behave. And so that's when you gotta pull that trigger and kick them out, you know. But this process of ego hurting, recovering, humbling, and then ego hurting, recovering, humbling, will slowly like it's almost like you're sculpting a new person. You're sculpting a beautiful relationship through this method. You know, it's really one of the best methods to create a strong bond, but it requires humility on both sides. This is why if you hurt their ego, it's not a bad thing. That's how you know who they really are through their reaction. Anyways, if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, go to myforattraction.org. My ego has been hurt multiple times, man, honestly. And, you know, I like to think that I learn from my mistakes. I like to think that if you call me out on my bullshit, you will not see me hesitate, accept it, because I'm full of shit sometimes, and I need to be told what to do. In fact, I like it when people call me out on my bullshit. Honestly, I really do, because it shows me that you care. You care enough to tell me, man. I mean, come on, man. Like you could have just left, but you cared enough to tell me the problem. I find that to be a privilege. That to me, for a human being to take time out of their day when they could have just left and want to work it out with me. I mean, come on, man. Like we should appreciate each other, because time is very short. You know what I'm saying? And when we look back, all of these little fights that we have, we're going to smile and say, oh my God, that was life. I just thought that was a shitty period, when in reality, that was life. And we just took it for granted. Man, I don't know. That's just like right now, this is life. You can't expect to live tomorrow, you know? Meditate, man. Meditate is life is so much better when you meditate. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. I've been happy lately, man. Even though I'm getting kicked out of my apartment, but it's because my meditation practice has been pretty intense, and it pretty much correlates with your self mood.